Well, it's over, isn't it? I mean, it just has to be over. Erik ten Hag has to be finished at Manchester United. 13 defeats for Manchester United so far this season. We aren't even at the turn of the year, and Manchester United have lost 13 games. They have also failed to score in 4 consecutive games. It's woeful. It's finished. It's unacceptable, and it is over. Erik ten Hag needs to leave his role as Manchester United manager. That is the only way Manchester United can get anywhere this season. They are already out of Europe altogether. You know, they aren't in the Europa League. They have already dropped out of Europe altogether. Now, I know some Manchester United fans will try and convince me that being out of Europe, they didn't want the Europa League anyway. But I just don't believe that can be true. I respect the Europa League. I love the Europa League. When Chelsea have won the Europa League, I love it. And Manchester United being deprived of potentially playing against Liverpool in a final. Imagine the historic moment that would be for Ten Hag. Imagine the symbolic victory that could have given Manchester United, beating Liverpool in a European final. And they aren't even in it because they finished below both Galatasaray and Copenhagen because of the inadequacy of Erik ten Hag. Now, people will constantly tell me that Erik ten Hag has been let down badly by the owners, but he is not blameless. When you think about the malaise that Manchester United are currently in, Erik ten Hag is at the epicenter of it, and I really don't understand how people try and insulate Erik ten Hag from the criticism. I just watched a terrible game of football. I have watched Manchester United play really poorly against West Ham United. A few days ago, by the way, I watched West Ham United be dismantled embarrassingly easily by Liverpool. Manchester United have just played them, and West Ham looked like the dominant team. Manchester United had a couple of half chances. They should have done more. Garnacho should have scored. But ultimately, they were too profligate. They weren't ruthless enough. They weren't set up properly. They didn't have enough demand in their team. They weren't desperate for the victory. They weren't hungry for the victory. And ultimately, they have been beaten by a team that were better than them. West Ham United deserved the victory today. And when you explore why, it is down to Ten Hag. He is constantly getting it wrong. The players on the pitch who are the key culprits, the key reason why Manchester United looks so woeful so often, it's Erik ten Hag's men. Now, Erik ten Hag got the men that he wanted. It's all very well to talk about the ownership at the club, what's going on at the club, the distraction around Jadon Sancho, the distraction around Anthony when that was going on, the distraction around Sir Jim Ratcliffe's takeover, the Qatari deal. Of course, all of that is true. But equally, on the front line of the football conversation is Erik ten Hag. And the way that he set his team up today against West Ham United was woeful. They were woeful. They had no real determination. They had no real leadership. They were poor. It was a poxy performance from Manchester United. And the worst performer on the pitch was Erik ten Hag's man. Anthony was all over the place. Totally all over the place. Contributed nothing, was moaning constantly, does nothing for his team, nothing for his teammates. That is the man that Ten Hag demanded Manchester United overpay for. That is the man that they admitted was overpriced, and they paid it anyway because it was Ten Hag's man. Who else contributed massively to the downfall of Manchester United today? Of course, we can talk about the brilliance of Lucas Paquetá, and we certainly will. In fact, let's focus on that first goal. Paquetá, sensational. He drops the ball onto Jarrod Bowen's right boot as if it were a golf shot. You know the way a golfer will chip a shot and it will land on the green dead. It will just drop down dead. That is the brilliance of Paquetá. He drops the ball over the Manchester United defence, which was stationary, totally immobile. Johnny Evans not really aware of what's going on behind him with Jarrod Bowen. Jarrod Bowen pulls the ball down. Now, there is an opportunity for Onana. Onana actually gets something on the shot. He has the chance to come out, smother the situation, kill the danger, take out Bowen, make sure that he wins the ball first and make sure that the ball does not end up in the back of the net. Onana instead comes out really delicately, really flimsily, gets something on the ball ricochets off Bowen's shin, and because Onana wasn't hungry enough for it, wasn't determined enough for it, wasn't desperate enough for it, the ball ends up in the back of the net because Bowen wanted it to end up in the back of the net more than Onana didn't want it to end up in the back of the net. Similar can be said for when Garnacho goes through. Anthony actually put him through. He could have played the pass a bit earlier. Anthony puts Garnacho through. Garnacho running through on goal. You're playing away in the Premier League. The Premier League is so intense, so difficult to secure points. And Manchester United, off the back of a good point apparently at Anfield, they haven't scored for ages. They've got an opportunity. They're in front of goal. What does Garnacho do? pitifully rolls the ball into the standing foot of Areola, allowing the save to be made. Garnacho needs to lash that one home, smash it into the roof of the net, demand the 3 points, fight for the team, play for the badge on your heart. Not delicately, pitifully roll it in. And now, you look at where Manchester United are in the league. West Ham have just leapfrogged them in the league. So I ask you, and this is what it all comes down to really, is Erik ten Hag the man to take Manchester United back to the top? Is Erik ten Hag the man that is going to win Manchester United a league title? Is Erik ten Hag the man that is going to allow Manchester United to plant their 4th flag in Europe's premier competition? And if the answer is no to all of those questions, which I believe it is, then what is the point in persevering with him now? If Erik ten Hag is ultimately going to be sacked in January, if he's ultimately going to be sacked in March, if he's ultimately going to be sacked in July, what is the point in persevering with him now? If they get rid of him now, they have a chance that they could salvage something from this sorrowful season. If they get rid of him now, there is a chance that the feel-good factor, a new manager bounce, you get Jadon Sancho back in the team. Maybe Rafael Varane is a happier player. Maybe the entire tide at the club rises because a new manager comes in. And maybe they have the opportunity to salvage something from this terrible season. But if they persevere with him, it is over. While he is there, their season is over. They have just lost to David Moyes. Like, there's something symbolic in that, isn't there? David Moyes, the man that they laughed at, the man that they ridiculed, the man that they decided was nowhere near good enough after 9 months, his side have just bounced back from a thumping at Anfield, secured 3 points against Manchester United, and leapfrogged them in the league. Like West Ham United, they came out in the second half. They made a few changes. They scored 2 quick goals. They killed the game off. And United didn't really offer anything. Manchester United are a team under this manager that are going absolutely nowhere. There's no invention. There's no creativity. There's no cleverness. There's no steel. There's no fight. There's no hunger. There's no determination. There is literally nothing. And while Erik ten Hag is in charge, none of that is going to change. It's over. 13 defeats this season. No goals in 4 games. Marcus Rashford, the most ruthless finisher at the club, on the bench. Højlund, no goals halfway through the season. It's a mess. And Ten Hag has overseen this mess, and I believe he needs to pay with his job. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Really interested to hear what you have to say about this, but I just don't see how anyone can possibly launch any sort of a defence for Ten Hag keeping his job. It's over. I'm going to be going live for the Liverpool game in a couple of hours, so please join me on this channel for that. I look forward to seeing you then. Hope you're all well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm going to be in them now.